My name's Cindy Gilfillan for Splitcoaststampers, and today we're going to create this card, an autumn scene, and we're especially concentrating on how to create this tree arrangement here. We've got a few extra bushes there, so that's what we'll be doing this morning. To start with, we have our watercolour cardstock. We're going to create a little bit of a base for our tree to sit on. Not too fussy with it yet, just to give us a place to start. We're using distress inks now for some of the sky. We want our tree to sit here, so we'll just go around that area, leave that area free. Maybe put a bush here and there. Add a little bit of shaded lilac as well. There's the tumbled glass. Shade's probably a bit much. Give the sky a bit of interest, but mostly we'll just blend that with the tumbled glass area there. Okay, so that's the base that we'll be using. Now we're going to use this tree stamp here. Let's put these aside so out of the way. This is Ranger Distress Ink. You have to ink it up really well. And then we're just going to take off some of these sharp edges so it's not a harsh line, and a few spots in the middle. With a baby washcloth. See how that looks. Yep, that's good. You can see we've still got a few shaded spots there from that tree. That's fine. Okay, so now we start working on the tree. We always start off with the squeezed lemonade, and this is an autumn scene, and one of these sponge daubers. Just put that around the tree edge there. We want it to look like the sun is shining through that tree. Okay. Let's now onto the dried marigold. And a spice marmalade after that. Start with the dried marigold. So we're just layering up the colours, leaving some of each colour as we go. And the yellow base gives the colours a lovely bright look. Now some of the spice marmalade, which is a darker orange. Okay, now we're using this stubby, Stamps by Judith Stubby, and we'll start with some of the dried marigold. We just keep on going over this and building up some of these dots. We can go over these white spaces too, that's good. I also want to use some of this, actually I might use the mustard seed yellow too. That's quite a strong yellow. It gives us the variations of colours of these little leaves. We're going outside a bit, you can do secondary stamping there, ghost stamping, whatever you like to call it. That yellow. Now we're going on to the deeper spice marmalade colour. You can see that the orange is a bit stronger there. Just varying up all these dots on this side. When you stamp it a second time, the dots are much smaller. It can look quite pretty when they go on the outside edge there. Okay, we'll add a little bit more of this deep orange in. Again. Then, final part to our tree, we'll add the red, fabric red, and this will really bring our tree to life. Notice I'm turning the sponge dauber as I'm doing this. There we go. Now again, with our dot stamp, now we're really getting some bright colours, this beautiful deep red colour here. Put this on this side. There we go. Add a bit more. As they do dry a bit lighter. Okay, that's our tree there for now. Okay, now that we've done the main part of our tree, we can concentrate on the rest of the background now. We might add a little bit more blue in, darken the sky up a little bit. There's a tumbled glass colour. We don't want to add too much in to distract from this autumn scene, but just a little bit. A bit of purple without re-inking it, just because we don't want it to become too dark. There we go. Okay, now for our foreground, we might do some little plants here. I have this sticky note I used earlier. We'll start with this one. Make this one over here yellow. So again, we start with the squeezed lemonade. And the sponge dauber. Put it past the tree so it looks like it's going behind there. I might lower this down a little bit more. And we'll use this mustard seed on the bottom a bit to give it a bit of depth of colour, but we don't want it to be too dark, otherwise our dots won't show up very well. So we'll go back, blend that a little bit there. Okay, let's have a look. So for this we'll just stick to the mustard seed dots because the squeezed lemonade ones just won't show up now. And again we concentrate a lot of the dots toward the bottom of this because we want the bottom to be a bit darker than the top, and then going slightly out when we're secondary stamping. There, and we'll use the mustard seed distress marker just to darken that base up a bit. Okay, not too fussy with that. Now we'll go over on this side. Actually, we might put a bit of green base so we can see where we're going here. Okay, that gives us our grass a bit better. And again, we start with a little bit of yellow. Not too much because we want this one to be orange, so let's do a little bit there. Go in with our dried marigold. Try and keep this one looking a bit orange. And a bit darker on the bottom a bit. Okay, let's see how we go with to start with. I like to keep within the area of where we've sponged. And then we can slightly go out a bit. Also the other orange we want to stamp in. Bring this on this side. Make sure you rotate the stubby as you're going so that you're not getting the same pattern over and over, but it's more varied. Now we use a little bit of this white persimmon thing to distress marker to create a bit of a darker base, a bit more realistic. And rusty hinge, wrong just that rusty hinge right on the bottom there a bit. And go back in with this light orange just to blend it a little bit. It's not too harsh. Okay. A bit more with the dark orange there. Okay, that's good. We like this little edges that have gone over slightly because that looks like the little shadows and leaves. Okay, now we'll concentrate on the greenery here. So we'll put these colours aside for now. Bring the greens back. And we'll just lightly use a little piece of paper here. So I can hold the edge without. Okay. Just slightly with this mowed lawn. Going up to the top just slightly there. And now we're going to use this stamp. Stampscape stamp. These beautiful grasses. You can really put them wherever you like. They go up a bit higher there. A bit more in that area there. That's it. Okay, now we want to create some shadows. Always do it in the lighter colour first. Some shadows around this tree. And these bushes here. Now that I'm happy where the shadows are, I'll go in with the mowed lawn distress marker. Just fill in that. Shadows fade out, so we don't want it to be too bold there. And we can use our little sponge to blend it out a bit. Then we might want to go over it again. The stamp. Just to put some of those grasses back in. There we are. So now the final thing to do is to create some leaves underneath this tree. So again, we bring back the orange Spice Marmalade and the Fire Brick Red. And we'll start off with the Fire Brick Red, with this stubby stamp. And just put them over where we think these leaves would fall. And some of the other orange to create the variety of colour. Autumn scene we're creating there. Okay, so let's have a look. That's our scene. And we can also darken up this trunk a little bit. Use the black distress marker or another black marker that you have. Just darken up. I might go into this finer end here. We might add a few more branches in there too. Make it look a bit more, realistic. Doesn't have to be too perfect, but it gives the idea. Darken these branches up. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes I like that tree to pop a bit more. Give it a bit of a border base. Stand on down there. There we go. Okay. Now all we have left to do is stamp our greeting. We'll go in. Try to keep that straight. There we go. And just to be a little bit quirky, we might put a little butterfly in there. Shaded lilac and tumbled glass. There we are. That's our autumn scene. After that, we simply mat it on some black card. Like that. Some blue cardstock. And there you have it, a beautiful autumn card that you can create very easily with just a couple of little stamps. Tree stamp, dot stamp, and the little grasses stamp, that's really optional. Thanks for listening.